Did you know? Groundwater supplies about 90% of drinking water used in rural communities. It's a revelation that shocks, yet educates all of us about the significance of this essential element in our lives. Groundwater, a wonder of nature, plays a pivotal role in sustaining life on Earth, especially in regions that are far away from main urban centers. It's a vital resource, often overlooked, but of immense importance to the survival and well-being of rural populations. Let's take an imaginary journey, a journey of a lone raindrop falling from vastness of the sky. Consider the raindrop as it descends, a tiny speck against the backdrop of the immense sky. Once it reaches Earth, it embarks on a riveting journey, a journey that transforms it into a significant and life-sustaining resource. A raindrop might seem insignificant to us, but its journey and transformation are truly phenomenal. When the raindrop hits the ground, the real magic starts. It doesn't just evaporate or flow away, instead, it seeps into the ground. It begins a slow and persistent process of infiltration, creeping into the layers of the soil below. The journey it undertakes is not a hurried one, but a methodical and relentless descent, navigating through the multiple strata of the earth. It's fascinating to think about how this single droplet clings to the soil particles, each progressively pulling deeper. It may even get absorbed by the rootlets of growing plants, serving as a source of hydration and sustenance. After the plant is sufficiently hydrated, the water is released back into the air as vapor, contributing the overall water cycle. But what of the excess moisture, you ask? Well, this is where the power of gravity comes into play. The force pulls any remaining moisture downwards, guiding it till it reaches a point where the pores in the soil or rock can no longer absorb any more water. These pores become completely saturated, and what we have then is a reservoir of water beneath the surface of our Earth. This subsurface pool of water, hidden from the naked eye but crucial to our survival, is what we call groundwater. This, my friends, is the birth of groundwater. Groundwater is water stored beneath the surface of the Earth, nestled in minuscule pore spaces that are situated in between rock fragments, sand particles, soil granules, and tiny bits of gravel. You can envision this by picturing a cup that's filled with gravel and then half filled with water. The topmost layer of the water, the one you see first, represents the water table. This is the upper boundary of groundwater, the surface below which all the pore spaces in the soil or rock are completely filled with water. Now, let's delve a bit deeper into the cup. Below this water table, where the gravel particles are entirely enveloped with water, lies a zone that we refer to as the saturated zone. This is where the water fills in the spaces between the gravel. Here, every nook and cranny between the particles of gravel is filled with water, making it saturated. This zone is critical because it is the source of water that fills wells and other groundwater supplies. Above this water-filled area, where there is only gravel, devoid of any water, is the unsaturated zone. Here, the pores are not filled with water all the time, but do hold water temporarily after rainfall, and air occupies the empty spaces. It's also known as the vadose zone, a term derived from the Latin word vadum, meaning shallow. It's relatively drier, as it is closer to surface and affected more directly by evaporation and transpiration. Just like water you see on the surface, groundwater flows downhill. But for groundwater, the concept of downhill is markedly different. It's determined not by the slope of the earth above it, but by the slope of the impermeable layer below it. The rate or speed at which groundwater moves is influenced largely by the permeability of the soil or rock that is present in the saturated zone. Permeability is a measure of how easily a fluid can move through a porous material. Different types of soil and rock have different levels of permeability, which directly affects how fast the groundwater can travel. In conditions, groundwater can move as quickly as several feet per day. This is often the case in highly permeable material like sand or gravel. However, in less permeable material such as clay or shale, the water might move as slowly as a foot per century. In distinct regions of the world, groundwater gathers in substantial volumes, thereby generating what we commonly refer to as an aquifer. An aquifer can be equated to a subterranean water storage facility, containing enough groundwater that can be harnessed to the surface and utilized for a plethora of essential purposes. These include obtaining potable water for drinking, irrigation of agricultural fields, usage in various industries, and multiple other applications that require water. Now, contemplating the critical role groundwater plays in maintaining life and promoting growth, does it not seem logical to conserve and safeguard it with utmost diligence? It is that is vital to all life forms on Earth, not just humans. Every single droplet of water that is saved adds to the preservation of this invaluable resource, ensuring its availability for future generations. Turning off tap when not in use, such as while brushing your teeth or repairing any leaky pipes promptly, are simple yet effective methods that can contribute to water conservation. These might seem like small actions, but when practiced by everyone, can culminate in a significant impact on the global scale. Also, using water-efficient appliances at home and work can help to conserve water, reducing the strain on our groundwater resources. Groundwater is not just a resource, it's a lifeline for many, particularly those residing in and remote communities who rely heavily on it for their daily water needs. It's a critical component of the water cycle, replenishing our rivers, lakes, and oceans. Our role in conserving water extends beyond our homes and immediate communities. We can advocate for water-saving policies, water conservation in our schools and workplaces, and educate others about the importance of preserving our groundwater resources. We need to remember that water is a finite resource, and it is up to us to ensure that it lasts. Thus, the very next time you observe a raindrop cascading down from the sky, a thought about the remarkable voyage it's about to undertake. The raindrop that falls from the sky today could be the groundwater we drink tomorrow. And remember, we all have a role to play in preserving and protecting our precious groundwater. Groundwater, as we've discovered, isn't just for drinking. It has many practical applications that we use every day, often without even realizing it. In the world of agriculture, groundwater is the lifeblood that nourishes our crops and livestock. It ensures that our fields remain fertile and our farm animals stay hydrated, thereby contributing to food security on a global scale. Moving on to industry, groundwater plays a significant role in various sectors, such as manufacturing, mining, and construction. It is used in cooling systems, as a component in manufacturing processes, and even for dust suppression in mining operations. The energy sector, too, heavily relies on groundwater. For instance, in geothermal power plants, groundwater heated by the Earth's crust is used to produce electricity. In hydraulic fracturing, a method used to extract natural gas and oil, water from aquifers is injected into the ground at high pressure to create fractures in rock formations, allowing the gas or oil to flow more freely. Beyond these sectors, groundwater plays a crucial role in maintaining our natural ecosystems. Wetlands, rivers, and lakes often depend on groundwater for their existence. It supports a variety of wildlife, from the smallest microorganisms to the largest mammals, by providing them with a reliable source of water, especially during dry seasons. So you see, groundwater is a vital part of our daily lives. It's not just water beneath our feet, it's a lifeline that supports our livelihoods, powers our industries, maintains our ecosystems, and most importantly, quenches our thirst. As we move forward, let's remember the importance of this invisible treasure and do our part in preserving it for generations to come. So, how can we bring this fascinating subject of groundwater into our classrooms? Let's dive into some fun and educational activities that can help students understand the significance of groundwater in a more hands-on manner. Firstly, we can demonstrate a simple experiment to showcase how groundwater is stored in the earth. For this, all we need is a clear plastic container, some sand, small pebbles, and water. Fill the container half with sand and then add the pebbles. Pour water into the container and watch as it seeps down, soaking the sand and filling the gaps between the pebbles. This basic model illustrates how the Earth's surface absorbs rainwater, storing it in the gaps between soil particles and rocks, much like an aquifer. Secondly, a classroom project can be undertaken to research local groundwater sources and their importance. Students can be encouraged to map these sources, study the communities and ecosystems they support, and even look into the threats they might be facing. This project can foster a sense of responsibility among the students towards their local environment and help them appreciate the critical role groundwater plays in their daily lives. With these activities, not only do students get a tangible understanding of groundwater and its importance, but they also get a chance to be junior geologists, hydrologists, and environmentalists. It's a fantastic way to bring the theory to life and inspire the next generation to value and protect our precious groundwater resources. So, let's get started. Let's bring the world of groundwater into our classrooms and create a ripple of knowledge and understanding that can flow into the future.